second graders, we are going to be talking about the story that we read yesterday, Little Flap Learns How to Fly. And we're also going to be talking about something really important called key details. The word key means something that's really big and important in a story. And the details are all the parts of the story that make it come to life, all the little pieces that you need. On the page it says, you can learn about important information in a story by looking at the key details in the illustrations. So you can use the illustrations, you can use the words on the page. All of that is going to come together to give you some information about the story. Now, what we want to make sure of as we're talking about key details is that we're really paying attention to pulling out the most important parts of the story. Because I remember in the story things like the color of the pages or maybe what color the bird was, but it doesn't really tell me what's happening in the story. So as we do this activity and we think about key details, we want to make sure that they're the details that are the most important to understanding the story and maybe even into being able to retell it to someone else.
Yeah.
So today they're going to be getting a page that looks kind of like these three boxes on the bottom of our screen here, and we're going to be filling them out with three main details from our story. Now what's really nice is that one of them is done for us on the page. So the first detail, Mrs. Grant, you want to read that for us?
Yeah, it says, Little Flap looks nervous about flying.
Ooh. Now I remember this is something that happened near the beginning of the story. And then we have two more boxes that we kind of need to fill in. This does seem pretty important. That was a big part of the story, and it tells us what happens to Little Flap.
Yeah, right at the beginning.
And how he feels.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if there's two more boxes, we could share a detail maybe from the middle of the story and then another one that happens at the end of the story.
You know what this makes me think of?
Yeah.
Like you said, retelling a story. If I read the story and you hadn't, I would think of what are the three main things I would tell Miss Marquardt that happened in this story, and those should probably be the details that I write down.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
So if the whole story is about Little Flap, who needs to learn how to fly, but he's too nervous, that's how it starts,
Yeah.
then we probably want to figure out how does he overcome that and what happens at the end, right?
Exactly. So yeah, we really want to focus on choosing things that would help someone else understand the story. Why don't we take a look at the worksheet that the students are going to be doing today, and maybe we can help you fill out the next couple boxes.
Great idea. So as you're saying that and moving this over, it's making me think, like you said, if I'm remembering that the nest was brown and that Little Flap was like this certain color, yellow or pink or green, I don't really remember which color he was.
All
You
different
guys can
colors.
go back and look. That the colors probably don't really make a difference to the story, so I'm probably going to leave that out. Right.
Exactly, yeah. The colors are important when you're visualizing something.
Yeah.
So when you're making that movie in your head or you're creating a picture, colors are important because it paints the picture of what you're reading and listening to. But when you're retelling a story, some of those little details aren't as important as key details, which are the most important ones. So I rewrote the first detail, and students, you're welcome to pause this video and copy this down if you want. Our first detail says, Little Flap looks nervous about flying. Mrs. Grant, can you help me think of something that happened in the middle of the story that you think is a key detail, something important that happened?
Okay. So as I'm thinking about the story, the main thing that sticks out for me after Little Flap being nervous, and it kind of goes with our central question, is that his friends encouraged him. They lifted him up, they said nice things to him, they just made sure that he felt, you know, he had that encouragement and support he needed to try something hard.
I think you're right.
Yeah, maybe just his friends encouraged him.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get that in the box. What happens if we don't know how to spell a word?
Ooh, great question. So we taught you guys last week that if you don't know how to spell a word, first, always I would underline it, right? Just so I remember that that's one that I didn't know. And I can finish my train of thought. I can finish writing what words I have in my head, and then I can come back to that word and go to my dictionary, that spelling dictionary we gave you, and if it's not in there, then maybe I can go and ask a parent for help at the end.
Awesome tip. So I think I spelled this word correctly because I've used it a bazillion times, but maybe you can help me double check it after this video.
Great.
All right, so his friends encouraged him to fly. That was awfully nice and a great way for him to depend on them. Now we're kind of getting to the end of the story.
Last detail.
What could we put there?
So I probably want to talk about whether he was able to overcome that fear. Did he fly? You know, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, right? He did.
He did. He ended up being able to fly, and he felt super brave, and he was able to kind of overcome that fear that he had at the beginning of the story.
Yes.
So, you know what? I don't think I need to write that one down for students. I think if they're listening, they can go back through, they can fill in these details, and we just gave them the answer for the last one. So if they're not sure, they can listen to the story again, or go back about 1 minute in this video and hear what we just said.
Yeah.
All right, have fun.